Production funding for Ruckus has been provided by gifts from Dave and Jamie Cummings, the Hartwig family, Hush Blackwell, Barbara and Peter Gattermeyer, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to Ruckus, our weekly food for thought fight over the news of the day and the trends of the times. I'm Mike Shannon. The Ruckettes join me shortly in our topics this week. Kansas City gets set for a new chief, gets set for more streetcar debates, and Burns and McDonnell get criticized for playing to win, plus roast and toast. But we start with our Newsmaker segment and talk with the president of the Kansas City, Missouri Police Board. Leland Shuren is a local attorney appointed to the board by former Governor Jay Nixon in July 2015. Shuren and his fellow commissioners are in the process of hiring a new chief, looking at staffing questions, dealing with a rising homicide rate, and facing a variety of other complicated issues. Joining me to talk about as many as we can in a few minutes, Board President Commissioner Leland Shuren. Commissioner, welcome to Ruckus. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
You're down to two finalists, Major Smith and Chief Humphrey. How close are you on the board to making a decision?
Well, I don't know. This evening we will have, while this show is going on, the public will have an opportunity to ask questions of these two candidates, two finalists, and then Friday morning the board will interview each of them again in a private session. Then we'll have to make a decision as to whether or not and when we will make the
Do you think
decision.
It'll be fairly soon, a matter of days rather than a matter of weeks or months?
Well, it won't be months, that's for sure. It might be weeks, it might not. I just have to see how much information we have on each as of Friday morning.
Well, you've met with these people before, have you not?
Oh, sure.
So you must have some idea of what they bring to the job and what you would expect of them.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Which one I prefer is up in the air because I don't know, and I think that's true of the other board members. We just need to watch them and see.
Maybe they're both attractive candidates.
They're both great
Obviously,
candidates.
or you wouldn't have them as the finalists in the competition.
That's absolutely true.
So when you do get a new chief, when you decide on one, what are you going to assign to him as the priorities to deal with?
Well, obviously our crime rate is too high and needs to come down. We need more officers on patrol. We need more community policing. We need to make decisions, Mike, that we're now holding off on. Body cameras and staffing and some consolidation with the city, because it doesn't seem to me to be particularly fair for us to make those decisions now without the input of a new chief.
Over the years on this program, and as we were talking before we started recording the program, it's been 20 years, and frequently there have been discussions about the Kansas City, Missouri Police Board state control versus city control. Now the commissioners are appointed by the governor, and a lot of people think it should be under city control. Obviously, you must agree with state control of the police department serving on the police board. Is that a fair assessment of your position?
Well, as I've told Sly James, the mayor, I'm not the spokesperson for the way the board is currently constituted, but I do like it. I don't particularly agree with you, Mike, that it is state control. I'm local. I've been here 74 years. The other members of the board are all local people. It is not local political control, but we are local people who
It's state
care
political control.
Well, it's state who appoints us.
Well, it's the governor of the state. If that's not a political position, I don't know what is.
Well, he appointed me. I've never heard from any governor since the governor called me and said, I'm appointing you to this board. As
you well know, the homicide rate is a higher level this year than in the preceding year and in some years before that.
Correct.
But you know, I've always wondered, can a police department really do anything to control the homicide rate? I mean, after all, homicides are often the result of acts of passion, can't be predicted. Is that really something a police department can control?
Not very well. We'd have to have a police officer in every home and every street corner to stop all the homicides, and even then, I don't know if it would do it. It is something that the public and the media look at quite a bit. as though it is an affirmation of how well the police department is doing, and that's not particularly fair. I do think overall we need to look at crime rate.
Let me ask you a quick final
Sure.
question. When Chief Forte retired, he took with him $500,000 he had accumulated through vacation time that he hadn't used and compensatory time. I think a lot of people were startled by that $500,000 in addition then to his retirement pensions. Were you stunned by that?
I was surprised, yes. I did not know, and no one on the board knew that was, that he had accumulated.
Are you going to make
that.
certain that that doesn't happen again?
Absolutely.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate your time. Good luck in making this important decision.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
That is Kansas City, Missouri Police Board President Leland Shuren. Now let's meet the panel and start a ruckus. Ron Freeman is a motivational speaker and former Kansas GOP official. Steve Glorioso is a media and political consultant. Terry Riley is a former city councilman and now heads Transformation Consultants. And Crosby Kemper III is director of the Kansas City Library System and host of KCPT's Meet the Past and Centropolis programs. Glad all of you survived the heavy rains and the flooding Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Thanks to all of you for coming in. We have a lot to discuss, so let us begin. As we've just been talking about, Kansas City, Missouri is about to hire a new police chief. A national search prompted by the retirement of Chief Forte has ended with two finalists, one a Kansas City officer, the other the police chief of Norman, Oklahoma. The local officer is Major Rick Smith, who joined the force in 1988. The Oklahoma contender is Keith Humphrey, who has been chief in Norman for 6 years. No matter which candidate gets the post, he will face a myriad of problems, some which seem to defy solution. So which one of the many should be the next chief's top priority? And we start with Ron.
Mike, I think the real issue is leadership for the police chief. That's his job, is to lead that department to effective law enforcement. When you get into the bottom line of things, it's got to be someone who understands what his team needs to effectively police this community. And then obviously be a face for the franchise, as it were, out engaging the community. But his big job is equipping these men and women to do their job effectively and protect this community.
Steve, what do you think? What's the biggest job the new chief is going to have to take on?
Well, it's a couple of thousand employees, and so obviously it's leadership skills. And equally is communication. You've got to be able to communicate to the people of Kansas City.
Wasn't his predecessor pretty good at that, communication?
I think he was
Forte?
better at communicating than managing, from just my observation. I think we have a top-rate police department overall. I've always thought that. Even though I've had little contact with them. But
that's not what I heard, but okay.
Well, anyway, I think that you've got to have both. You've got to be very strong at both, setting goals. I know it's police work, but it's also managing like a corporation. Have a vision, have a goals, management, and also be able to communicate both to the people in the organization and as a police chief to the public.
Terry, you've been on city council. From your experience, would the department be served better by appointing an insider, Major Smith, or an outsider, Chief Humphrey?
Well, I have not had the opportunity to work with the major that's up. But, you know, sometimes a person that's already entrenched in the process could possibly do a better job managing, but I don't know the management skills of the other individual that's interviewing. But what I would say is communicating with the public, building better relationships with the community, because right now, with all the things that have occurred all over the country, building that community and police relationship is very important for any police department to, so that you can find out what's going on in neighborhoods, so that you can have those patrols and community police so entrenched in the neighborhood that they know what's going on and can prevent some of the crimes before they occur.
Crosby, it looks like somebody's going to have to do something about staffing at the Kansas City,
well,
Missouri
we got a
Police
recent
Department.
study that shows that staffing is
there are too many
all
officers
wrong.
inside.
Despite the fact that we spend more than almost any other city on the police department, our crime rate is way up, particularly the murder rate. We have a neighborhood next to downtown which has the second highest neighborhood crime rate in the United States. We have a NOVA program that doesn't work. We have an evidence lab we paid something like $100 million for, and our clearing of cases has gone from 70% to 40%. This is a crisis, and the real problem is leadership in the city. Where is the mayor and the city council on this? Where's the civic council on this? Where is anybody where's the star on this? This is a crisis.
Well, is this an argument for local control or an argument against local control?
You know, what Leland Shuren said is essentially right. We got a lot of local people involved in this on various boards and commissions and whatnot, but nobody at the civic level or the political level seems very concerned about this. Well, we're more concerned to spend a lot of money on an evidence lab and pensions, of course, huge amount of money on pensions, and not enough cops on the street.
Well, what Crosby's saying also does argue, in my opinion, for local control. We're the only police department in the entire United States because you can't hold anyone accountable. You know, if you got mad about the police board, you kind of like got to get a new governor to appoint.
Yeah, the mayor's on the police board.
Well, yeah, one vote out of 5, and we all know that Sly James, I'm sure he aches heartily. I mean, here's a guy who grew up in the neighborhoods where a lot of these murders are taking place. But I'm just saying, Crosby, if people, like all the concerns you had, if it's the issue in the next campaign, you might be able to affect
change. It might be better with local control, but I'm just saying I don't see any civic engagement in this. I don't, you know, these programs don't work. We're not doing the computer-aided programs that New York and Boston and LA do. It's just
the
a
challenge
leadership
is
problem generally.
the reality with crime. Excuse me, with crime, it's not the police. Excuse me, it's community, it's people, it's the guys who pulls the trigger. That's a problem. And until we deal with that, and it's very well documented, where you have a high population, 12 to 17-year-old males, excuse me, without male father figures. Yeah, you can talk for me. Father figures. You're going to have crime.
I'll be glad to speak on your behalf.
Deal with that, Mike. I so appreciate that. I'm glad you're here.
You know what's going to be? What is a potentially?
It goes, and I'm so sorry. It goes back to what Crosby was saying. The wraparound with the community, the civic, the business community, and the community working together to solving these homicides.
You know what I find interesting, and I didn't have a chance to talk to Commissioner Shuren about this on the air, but off the air, there are 4 members of the police board now. 1 slot is vacant, and theoretically there could be a tie vote on who the new chief will be. Now, he doesn't think that's likely to happen, but wouldn't that be an interesting situation? Yes, Mike, that would be an interesting situation. Playing to win, maybe playing too hard, according to a recent Kansas City Star editorial. The paper wonders if Burns and McDonnell is playing fair in its efforts to win city approval to build a new airport. The deadline for submitting a plan is this week. Burns and Mack is lining up exclusive deals with local women-owned and minority-owned firms to bolster its bid and apply political pressure. Burns and McDonnell is the company that introduced the private financing option for KCI and has engaged in a massive public relations campaign emphasizing its Kansas City roots. The Star insists the airport competition must be open and fair. But I ask you, Steve, has Burns and Mack done anything to impede an open and fair city council decision?
No, they have not. They're not. I mean,
Are you okay, Crosby?
I'm sorry. I think I know why. Let me backtrack. Crosby, you jumped behind me too much.
Your turn, Steve.
Yes,
go ahead.
I think surely they did in the way that it rolled out and this idea. That wasn't what I was talking about, Crosby. It was this PR campaign. Right. I think that part of it, I don't believe impedes a fair and open process. They started out in a hole because I think the screw-ups in the beginning, the no competition, then this crazy right of first refusal, and it just went off the tracks. And I think now the process is back on track. I don't think the PR campaign is going to make a difference. I don't even think.
But is there anything inherently wrong with putting together a public relations campaign? You of all people must think that's a great idea.
I don't think there's any problem with it at all.
It's a free market. It's a free market.
But
we're going to pay for it. If they get the deal, we're going to.
They're paying for the campaign to market it.
I promised Terry to get in on this one, if I may. Has Burns and Mack done anything that you can see to impede an open and fair decision decision by the city
No,
council.
and let me give let me be fully transparent here. I help Burns and Mac do water projects around the country. And so let me be fully transparent.
So we
on
can't
that
believe
issue.
anything you're going to say.
You should believe everything I'm going to say because I'm not you. But
I hope you enjoy your last appearance on Rocket.
hey, with that statement, it was all worth it.
No,
Hey,
go ahead.
but no, I think Burns and Mac, from their very, very stellar career here in Kansas City as it relates to doing things that help move Kansas City forward.
Off which
from
they've
an
made a lot of money.
From an
They've made a
entrepreneurial
lot of money on these
standpoint.
contracts.
You want to talk about families making money, we'll just reserve that for another
Whoa,
time.
big day for you here.
$33 million worth of civic involvement each year. And the other point, and why I think I'm right on this issue, almost $300 million spent on the Sprint Center, which is now operating in the black. I chaired that process, and we had plenty of MBEs and WBEs, and many of them were exclusive.
Minority-owned businesses,
minority-owned women and
business.
minority-owned business, and they were exclusive to those companies. And we were able to pick a team and move forward. The only problem with that, I wish it was a local team, because we wouldn't have had all the problems we had trying to negotiate a really good deal for Kansas City.
Okay, we've had some very positive comments about Burns and McDonald now. Crosby,
So
do you have anything
Burns
to
and
share?
Mac, a great company. I was their banker for a while. I put Greg Graves on the UMB board. Yes, we do like making money at banks. But here's the problem. They're portraying themselves as the great patriots of Kansas City. They proposed a no-bid $1 billion contract. 267 Burns and Mac employees gave money to the mayor in one reporting period of the last election, and they're taking $60 million of taxpayer money to build their headquarters building. So I don't think they're exactly patriots about this, and I think the city's designed a process that was designed not to work in the favor of a real bidding process. We'll see how that goes, but I'd be really skeptical about that.
And last I heard, there are maybe 4 companies that are going to make a presentation.
Today is the day.
Yeah,
Today is the
Thursday.
turning day.
But Mike, real quick. AECom, probably the major competitor, has by far the most experience from what I understand. They do have an office here in Kansas City, 100 employees maybe, and all the workforce jobs are going to be local. But you know what's we have to keep in mind is the polling on whether the people of our city want a new airport are still upside down. There have been 2 major polls in the last 12 months. 38% yes. That's a long way. And instead, we're talking about financing. We haven't dealt with the threshold.
Yeah,
It's because of the process. The process has been so bad, that the city is designed and Burns and Mac is designed.
Ron, before we wrap this up, has the idea of renovating the existing airport been dismissed now? I mean, is it one terminal
Well,
or
I
nothing?
think some people want that to go away, but it hasn't, not in the community. People don't want the airport to be changed that much. That's the bottom line.
Steve, as you suggest, there may be public disapproval of a new airport facility. What if voters say no and there's something on the ballot in November? What then?
Well, my own feeling, by the way, if they put it in November, the answer will be no. They ought to wait till April. There's way too much confusion and distrust right now. But anyway, that notwithstanding, if it fails, I don't know whether we just deal with what we have. I think we need a new airport. But, or maybe at that point there's no more elections and the city can put together a deal and do it all, without a public process.
I thought that was committed to by a previous council to have a vote on it.
Well, they would have.
Yeah.
And if it fails, why do they have to have another one?
All right, we'll move on. The arrival of a streetcar in downtown Kansas City just over a year ago has infused public transportation enthusiasts with the singular goal of expansion. The effort to expand south and eastward to UMKC is now underway through a complicated mail-in election process. The only eligible voters are those who live in the expansion district. But on the August 8th ballot, all Kansas City voters will decide whether streetcar expansion should be decided by district or by citywide balloting. Now, Crosby, you've been critical of the Transportation Development District concept in the past. Are you still? And if you are, why?
I think we just, we created the most suppressive, undemocratic election we've ever at least had in my lifetime since the Pendergast era. Chris Kobach can only dream of all the IDs, the notaries, it's like a poll tax, and we're going to have something like 1,000 people, somewhere about around 1,800 people to 2,000 people people will vote on this initially, and so 1,000 people, as few as 1,000 people, could vote to spend $550 million taxpayer money.
Let me ask you this: if the August 8th vote is decisive and says that there has to be a citywide election before any expansion can take place, would that negate any success thus far for the eastward-southward progression?
Well, I mean, we'll see how people feel. I mean, I think there are an awful lot. We voted against streetcars and light rail over and over and over again. Clay Chastain, a brilliant urban planner, got one passed once. And then 320 people got the initial direction of the streetcar passed. I mean, you know, this is the decline and fall of liberalism. These are all good liberals who want to do this, but they want to make sure that as few people as possible vote and spend as much money as we possibly can on something that is essentially a party bus.
Steve, you're no doubt in favor of the expansion to UMKC.
Well, I have a disclaimer. I live on the streetcar line. I paid.
You need to get a house or an apartment, you know?
And I have a condo, and I pay for the streetcar with a special assessment every year, and it's terrific. Would I like to see it go to UMKC? Yes, because then it becomes more of a transportation. Right now, it's a people mover, you know, from Crown Center to the market and back.
How many people are there?
And I don't disagree with Crosby. This is twice in one show. But it is a crazy system set up by the state. It wasn't the city that did this. It is not only a literacy test, it's a poll tax on top of that. And,
right.
You know, I go around the world monitoring elections, and we would have always said this is crazy. But the fact of the matter is, it is the system they inherited, and I think it will pass. When we had that election, you remember the one that where the rail was going to go out Linwood and out Independence Avenue? In the corridor that we're looking at, in an open election, it passed by 55%. Had the mayor not taken a gamble on East Side going to those spurs, they'd be laying tracks right now. So there is public support in that corridor, no matter how you get at it by
But what about this citywide vote? If that's approved by voters, the idea that before you can do these expansions, there has to be a citywide vote of approval. Will that, if that passes, if people say yes, they want a citywide vote, won't that stop? That will be too late for the one that's in progress now?
Yeah, because it'll be after the August 2nd vote. That's just my opinion.
People hope for. I mean,
Terry, can the city council do something about that? If in case the August, what'd you say, August 2nd vote, if it's an approval and the citywide vote says you have to have city approval universally for something to expand, does that negate the first election?
We would need to talk to legal counsel.
Well, the council
believe that
stopped the Clay Chastain plan from going into effect after it was approved.
That plan was illegal because it went across tracts of land, park land. It was illegal. And so it was a plan that was not.
But you know, there's another one on the ballot, Clay Chastain's election.
Yeah. And as I mentioned in a note to you guys, I saw a couple of star writers on Kansas City Week in Review last Friday say, don't dismiss this Clay Chastain plan. There might be some genuine interest in it.
Yeah, but listen,
but this is a $227 million deal, and we're going to be on the taxpayers going to be on the hook for it. Vet it. See who's helped by it. Not many people. It just doesn't seem it's
but here's what could happen. If Chastain's passes, you could hijack that money to build the spur.
Okay, quick change of topic. Quick change of topic. Quick change of topic before we move on. Brownback is going to resign as governor, become an international ambassador for religious freedom for the Trump administration. That means Jeff Collier will become governor of the state. What does this all mean, if anything?
I don't think it means a whole lot. I think Jeff Collier will be an effective leader and probably give him a leg up for being elected governor next time.
Make him want to run for election as governor?
Surprise me. I think he'd be a great candidate.
Okay. And now we head to the soapbox for Roast and Toast, where the Ruckettes have 30 seconds each to felicitate or deprecate people and events in the news. I like that one. Let's start with Terry.
I would like to toast Melissa Robinson with the Kansas City, Missouri School Board. She's the president of the Kansas City, Missouri School Board. The Kansas City, Missouri School District has started to market again to the community. She helped pick a very good superintendent. So I would like to toast Melissa Robinson for excellent leadership and most of all keeping the district quiet and actually moving kids forward academically.
Steve Glorioso.
I'd like to toast immigrants. Recently, a family member was in a local hospital One doctor was Vietnamese, another was from Egypt, one nurse was Filipino, the other was from Liberia. And the white Trump voters claim all these immigrants have taken their jobs. Not true. They have conceded these jobs to qualified, trained immigrants. Rather than playing the victim card, they should get off their behinds, get some education or some specialized training, and compete for the jobs instead of looking for a government handout.
Crosby.
Wow. So I'd like to roast the Kansas City Star editorial board for their editorial on interviewing the next police chief. They gave them 12 questions, and the murder rate, the NOVA program, and community policing were down at 9, 10, and 11, while they had, should officers be allowed to take cars home, as number 5. And number 12 was an attack on Jeff Sessions, which had nothing to do with Kansas City policing. Get focused. The crime rate is up. From your building, you can see a neighborhood that's the second highest crime rate in the United States. Get focused.
And Ron?
I'm going to toast the Kansas City Royals, and as I heard on 610 Sports this morning, the Blue World Order. And watching these guys play, 8-game winning streak. When Mike Moustakas was being last night intentionally, the response of his teammates was very similar to 2015, and it's looking like a great day in the Blue World Order.
Okay, and finally, here is a toast. Finally, here is a toast to Citizens Against Government Waste for the Pig Book, an annual compilation of pork barrel spending by the federal government. This year's highlight, $2.5 million for a study on how speed dating can facilitate the perfect first date. The Pig Book helps us understand why the budget always ends in a deficit, or if you prefer, in red oink. And that is Ruckus for this time. We're back next Thursday at 7. Now for the Ruckettes and the crew, Mike Shannon saying thanks very much for watching and good night.
Production funding for Ruckus has been provided by gifts from Dave and Jamie Cummings, the Hartwig family, Hush Blackwell, Barbara and Peter Gattermeyer, and by viewers like you. Thank you.